to feel like you can just kind of skip lane pretty effectively, and the extra sustain that you get does just mean that Scions and things of that nature aren't able to actually do anything against you. Korea now looking for the Nautilus, add a little bit of extra engage, and I kind of like this. They already had so much single target lockdown.
You know, this game state here, really good for D+ in terms of lane prio, as Lucid may get collapsed on though.
Oh, Lucid. Will he actually be able to get the money? I don't think so. Yeah, it doesn't actually work out, as now Lucid likely to be dead, and there is first blood over to Kanavi.
That Showmaker's built up in this mid lane though. He doesn't have to flash because he knows that Zeka doesn't have level 6. He does now, as Zeus is very low.
Oh my god, yeah, he is. Shio actually able to find the ulti there as the Void Rush not quite working out, and Zeus is just dead. That is a solo kill here for the Ambessa.
Big win there on the top side for Shio.
And I think he just teleported in and killed Zeus before he actually made it back home.
Yeah, he's just able to hit him with the ultimate there, and Lucid is also looking for an engage here.
Yeah, another hook going to connect there as Kanavi gets hit by the Deadly Flourish. It's a lot of damage, but Korea goes down first as Gumayusi is untouched. Lucid unable to do anything, and Smash has to flash to get out of the way. Be picked up.
This bottom lane is just going to go by the wayside for both teams for a moment here, as there's no teleports for either top laner. They're both going to reset and head towards the bottom lane now, as we have AD carries swapping up as this grub fight does ensue. Career does not have his ultimate, so he's not going to be able to impact this play too much here.
Yeah.
And they don't have Smite for Lucid right now.
Well, Scatter is going to go wide there for Showmaker. He's going to have to back away, as that is one grub apiece for both of these teams. Can Lucid collect this, though? He doesn't quite have his Smite available as the Pulverize. Oh, he's just dead. The Aatrox just blows up and unable to dash over the wall. And now Korea finds himself in a very uncomfortable spot. Oh my god, Shu! That is insanity. Gumayusi going to be taken down, and Shu's looking for even more. Kanavi's dead. Delight is so close as Smash not able to quite find the Deadly Flourish, and Shu going to be pulled back by the Shockwave. Zeka playing some defense. The Showmaker wants to get the scatter but does not find it.
20 CS as well as laning phase has been
what was that
incredible.
9-minute stat of yours? Oh wait,
9
plus
CS
9
at 10.
Yeah, 9 CS at 10. Well, he's doubled that. As, all right, a little bit of a disengage attempted. Scatter the Weak is so good though, as Kanavi in a lot of trouble. The Scuttle Crab's even getting involved, but down goes the Jace to start this one up. And DK, this is what we were talking about. You find one person and they do not move until they're dead. Uneasy, you know, because Smash and Korea look absolutely fantastic, but there's a certain support that was playing for DK this year, and I'm a bit of a fan. But DK looking really good after a little bit of a change-up. As Showmaker going to get caught here, as Zeka looking for the angle. Delight wants to make his way in. He'll get that pole, and down goes the Syndra. Just brute force here by HLE, and there was nothing Showmaker could do.
Yeah, he didn't have flash. D+ had a solid lead, gets a little bit diminished, but they're trying to make a play here onto a solo VAR, as Delight is nowhere nearby.
Yep, Death Charge comes down. Chains of Corruption do go in there though, as Gumayusi, nothing he could do. There's that chain CC we were talking about, and you do not need everyone. Zeus here, who is looking pretty strong. Titanic Hydra now completed, as Shu, with his Eclipse, might need to get that shield working, as Preseeker not quite going to work. Here's the public execution, as Shu looking to try and dash his way out, but it does not work. To the skies towards this bottom side, as Delight does take a few more turret shots than he otherwise would have wanted to. It should be all right. His career moving down. Oh, Delight's in a lot of trouble. Kanavi is going to make his way in. Lucid's going to be there as well, as she almost just dead to start this one up. Death Charge onto 2 though is looking real nice. Shu gets a whole bunch of health back, as there's the hook, and down goes Guma. Teleport to come in. That's going to bring Zeka over, who wants to find a big shockwave in this fight. The flash forward from Korea, but he doesn't. Oh, he does! He nails the hook onto the cow. The perfect target. He has to flash away. He's going to be able to get out, but the double scatter from Showmaker. The unleashed power comes in, and the curtains have been called by Smash. Doesn't have the last bullet to do enough damage to Zeka there, and Kanavi is able to limp his way out. But look at this. I mean, Zeus is just around this map.
Which one do I hit? And they're like, Delight. He's like, hold, I got him.
Yep. And Showmaker, I think, maybe dead. Might have a scatter the weak, but we'll see. Preseeker doesn't quite work there. It's Force of Will to slow down Zeus, but he does get to tunnel on through. That is going to be another hook connecting, though, as we can see here. Zeka will be going down. Showmaker's still alive.
Yes,
he still has flash. What the heck? That's illegal. Why doesn't... Showmaker, you should have used the flash out of solidarity, at least.
If he actually got, if he tried to go chase some Zeus there and got caught by a Deadly Flourish, then he just dies because the rest of D+ are in the area.
like in a lot of these skirmishes, they had the edge.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I think right now when I look at it, I think the biggest impact for the macro lead that we have is 100% Zayas. Like, he's always been able to threaten those turrets. He got that inner on the top side, and he's maintained a lot of these fights, like teleport advantage, utilizing that to keep Xiu in place and to block him from entering fights. Now, 2 levels up on Showmaker at such a lead in the early game. He's going to look for a potential angle.
Oh dear, Showmaker was trying to back. Does have to flash here as there is the Void Rush. Down goes Showmaker this time.
And this teleport is so late. You're a large Jin in this game, but if your Nautilus goes in, he's just going to die. And Shiyu's taking so much damage already.
Yeah, Shockwave is going to pull him back there as well. Let's see whether Shiyu can actually escape from this one, as he does have a lot of dashes. He flashes out of the way as well, but then he dies. Zayas teleported in as well to make sure that there was going to be no follow-up from DK. And with the top laner dead, it is likely that we are going to see HLE move towards his Baron and look to take this one down. Lucid on a cute little angle, as Delight is going to find him. The chains do pull him back as the cow throws down the ulti, looks to turn it into an engage. onto Showmaker. He's so far away from the rest of his team. Showmaker's going to die though. In trade for the support is now Smash, trying to deal with this gigantic Rek'Sai. Korea is a bit of a hero, but it is not enough, and I don't think he's going to be able to ultimately save Smash, who does get a little bit of fleet footwork to keep him alive for a little while longer, but it's Guma that locks down the kill on his former teammate, as DK now on full defense mode, trying to hold off HLE, and as you can see, it's not working. Smash now getting engaged on as another Void Rush does come in. They do manage to get the redemption, and down goes the Rek'Sai.
And that might actually help to defend this inhibitor, but they have to be quick. They
Yeah.
have to wrap around fast. Career's going over. He's got his flash.
Curtains have been called here by Smash, as Delight taking some damage, as you can see, goes down to 50%. And now the engage onto Xiu. He is just burning, and dead. Kanavi now possibly caught over to the side here as Korea finds the angle, and Lucid locks down the kill. And DK looking a little worse for wear, but they do have a man advantage for the moment. Korea will be dead though, and so that should mean that they're going to even out the trade, and Gumayusi gets another one.
It's not really a big win here for D+, but they are able to keep that inhibitor alive off of the flank play there. Career sacrifices himself, but they're able to get the kill there onto Kanavi in the end. Zeka.
Yeah, Zeka sidestep on the scatter. So Showmaker not going to be able to find that one. And my God, the damage is just disgusting. Unleashed power is just not as much as they would have liked, as now Smash wondering where the heck that Orianna came from.
This is reminding us of that Nongshim loss where D+ almost came back in, but this is a completely different story. Hanwha Life still in control here, despite some heroics for D+. There's buying time for the inevitable.
Yeah, Showmaker just taking infinite damage there. As we can see, the World Ender is going to be mainly for the Aatrox, as we saw, just pops like a balloon. As Xiu going to need all the dashes he can find as Korea gets the flash, tries to get on top of Zeka, but he is still so safe, and the Ambassador unable to do anything. It's a triple kill for Gumayusi on his Varus, make it a quadra, as the Shockwave is going to be able to find Smash, and down he will go. Pentakill for Gumayusi as the Nexus falls.
A penta. And I feel this game was hardly about him. He hits a big poke, he hit the big burst when it mattered, but it was just a team effort. Everyone was so massively ahead that there was just no way back into D+. I feel like that's one of the more graceful losses, though, we have seen for a team 15,000 gold behind. They had a really strong composition as well, but once they lost control of the macro, which really it felt like Hanwha Life Esports had the edge in from start to finish.
Yeah, this
D+
is the problem.
Could not get back in.
There were a few skirmishes that did work out for DK with this mid-game composition. The problem was they were never able to actually use them in order to create a larger advantage. They never turned it into these objectives. Feats of Strength went over to HLE. They were able to pick up the Arakan. I mean, it's Arakan, right?
Like, Xayah feels very safe, but I don't think you necessarily have to play it. Corki feels pretty strong here, and they could have even opted in for a Jinx with how much upfront engage there is to get excited and to set up there. Jinx just not played that much here in Korea.
Yeah, HLE will be able to take the first, though, very comfortably. As the second likely to go down next, as, we have the ulti going entirely wide. Now Delight could potentially be in trouble as they take down 2 of these. The Cataclysm onto 4 members as Kanavi looks for the angle. The Permafrost comes in, Lucid manages to survive as all of the grubs not going to go to HLE, as now Smash is dancing in amongst it. They're able to take down the Yone, and it's a decent handshake there, but I think Smash went a little bit overly aggressive in Korea. will finally manage to find the hostile takeover. I think he managed to get a level up in the... Yeah, he's got his Rooker now completed as well as Korea could be in a lot of trouble. Hostile takeover though to buy a little bit of time as he's looking to try and walk it off. Good sidestep, but he just explodes. Nothing he can do as Lucid now looking for a little bit of an angle, but Kanavi is so healthy. Smash now starting to dance around this fight, and he will be able to get that rend out. Showmaker.
I think that all the lead really that Hanwha Life have is that Rumble into K'Sante, which doesn't necessarily mean all too much because K'Sante is still going to be very relevant even on low eco. As Showmaker is the target here, susses it out.
Yeah, there's the quickness as Showmaker flashes out of the way of the Glacial Prison. Emperor's Divide onto all three of them as the ulti will connect. And Showmaker, will he be able to get bailed out? The answer is no, as that is Feats of Warfare over to HLE, and they might be able to get even more. Hostile takeover, though, is fantastic. He puts them in the pen, does Lucid, and now looks for it as Zeka unable to lock down that kill. Now Korea looking for Kanavi, and Lucid needs to be really careful. He's got a minion wave coming on through as he's looking to drag his way out. Does get that control ward in.
He might
as he
just be able
walks
to get
over
the
another one.
Guma though on the way.
Yeah, it's been a fair bit of time. As he's inside this brush. Knows. Oh, never mind. He's just dead. And it's the execute. Yeah, there is no ulti out of Zeka or Kanavi though, so it looks like Showmaker might be able to live this. We'll see as Kanavi goes in with the Arctic Assault. Soul's been unbound, and down will go the Azir. And Kanavi's happily able to tank up that turret. I underestimated. And so you're asking for team fights, but I think HLE have done a really good job of just denying DK from being able to ever get there. As Korea now looking to clear out some vision. Great Grand Entrance is going to connect. We'll see whether the bailout is going. Never mind, it's not even going to happen. As Lucid drags his way out of there. Great knock up onto Showmaker as Emperor's Divide is going to try to hit the Yone, but he's able to get himself out of it.
Punishing Rakan engages might be the name of the game. You can handshake him or look for a flag drag. Guma is looking for some damage here.
Taking a fair bit of it. As you can see now, Korea going to get knocked up. There's the equalizer onto Smash as Kanavi looking for the angle. Korea just going to get taken down. And I feel like this Renata just getting caught out of position a few too many times this game.
Or the K'Sante he wins into. Finally, Showmaker gets this matchup here, but he's pushing up very deep, and Kanavi is wrapping around the corner.
Yeah, Showmaker not quite able to get this turret just yet either, as Emperor's Divide is going to push back the Rumble. Showmaker realizes that he has to go for it, but it's just not going to be enough.
Has his flash, he is quirky. It's very difficult to get on top of this guy and take him out. And here's a flank coming through from Zeus. He's got the equalizer at the ready.
Exactly, Delight looking for it. It's the quickness, not exactly getting the most work done as he goes down very low. There's the flash out from Smash to keep himself alive as finally the Fate's Call does come on through. The knockup is onto Zeus as Korea is just going to go down. And two are already lying on the floor. Showmaker walks his way up after the teleport and realizes that everyone's just kind of dead.
Of stats over Showmaker in terms of items right now. And if he gets some alone time with a turret with the two grubs, it just goes away. It disappears.
Yeah.
And Showmaker here has some friends. Maybe this time they catch Zeus and get a bounty turret.
We'll see. Lucid is 3 levels behind this guy, which is kind of ridiculous. Great sidestep there is going to get him out of the way as Lucid. He may actually just straight up die as they do look for the bailout, but it does not actually come through as the rest of HLE all get into position at the right time. Kanavi now looking to try and get himself over this wall to cut off Showmaker and make sure that he can't get out of there, and I don't think he's going to, as now Gumayushi finds him. There's the exhaust, but it does do absolutely nothing.
Out macro, generally speaking.
Yeah, and maybe like picking more globals, things like that, but you got Delight finding the quickness onto multiple members. The equalizer goes down to break up the fight as well as Shiu is just melting. He's supposed to be a tank. It's looking so difficult. Flag and Drag gets Lucid out of there as the Drake is going to spawn. All right, that is Ocean Soul here for HLE.
Some ultimates used, but again, can they muster a fight this far behind? I don't think so. We're going to see the TP back in here for Shiu at full health.
Hostile takeover is available here for Korea, who gets pulled back. That is going to be that Ocean Soul we were talking about, though, as Kanavi looks for the angle. Hostile takeover does nothing as Delight gets into that backline. Emperor's Divide does come through as an answer, but Smash is already dead, and Showmaker needs to shift the sands to get himself out of the way. Gumayushi does get cataclysmed. I don't think it's going to be enough to get the kill, and he's able to take down Lucid before he kills him. Showmaker died somewhere off screen, and Shiu is now the last man standing.
Hanwha Life Esports can break open mid and bottom here. They want to utilize the downtime for D+ to get structural damage rather than going directly to the Baron. Wave being held here from Shiu, I think, is not really going to accomplish anything he decides to back because this base is just wide open. They still have a cannon wave here. Career trying to buy time for some respawns, but I mean, Hanwha esports can nearly just end this game right now, and they're going to look for it.
Yeah, Career is just going to blow up, man. I feel like he's been doing that a lot today as Shiu is going to be taken down. That is going to be the ace just before Smash respawns. First inhibitor, sorry, Nexus turret is going to go down as Smash at least dodges out of the way of the grand entrance, but one turret will not stop HLE, not right now, as they're looking at 28 minutes on the clock to bring themselves to match point and looking for a couple of extra kills to boot. Some of these health bars are going down relatively low, and there's the knock up onto Zeus. Grand entrance does come on through as it's a double for Smash. Looks like this Nexus is going to try and get focused down, and Zeka will do it. And that is HLE 2-0 in this best of 5 so far.
It's a frustrating way to lose that one. No map control again. And D+, it's those types of Nexus defenses where you know your opponent's messing around and you're like, wait, is there hope? Did they actually mess around too much? Did we actually defend? No. Zeka decides he's going to actually right-click on the Nexus, and down you go. It's a tough POG vote for me, to be honest. I kind of want to give it to Delight. He had an incredible Rakan game.
He did.
But Zeus also took over.
Playing the Poppy there towards the bottom side.
Because
it needs to match up into... oh, okay, that's a Vladimir.
Okay.
Zeus going to have a bit of fun.
Well, Vladimir's really good when he gets to scale for free into a Scion. Is very safe into Zed. Very safe into Ahri.
Yeah, I kind of like this.
It's actually a really good pick, and it's one that Zeus really favors. He started playing this in Fearless at the beginning of the year when Fearless wasn't even necessarily going to be a thing in the first stand tournament. Because we knew it was going to be Lucian Braum in the bottom lane. Very strong into the Poppy. Which is why we were wondering maybe something else would come through. His career swaps.
It's going to be the Nami instead. This is really interesting.
And you can see he's just like, maybe Showmaker and I could make something happen. Trundle is coming down here for Kanavi as well, but that's just going to be the end of any sort of possibility for a fight. In fact, I think it should be.
Yeah, control vision. Here in the Pixel Brush will mean that Lucid remains unseen.
The honey fruit gank.
Yeah. As Lucid does say, the Unseen Blade is the deadliest. The flash forward from Korea doesn't do anything at all, though, as now Delight looking for the angle. The pillar comes on in. Korea's going to die, so that is first blood over to Delight, but now Smash is in trouble as well. It's a double kill for the Poppy, as Lucid wants to be able to take him down, hits the level 6, and finds the death mark. Can he get back to a shadow? That's the question, and the answer is yes, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Guma's on the shadow.
And it may just head the same direction once again. Let's see. Lucid wanting to change their fate as he gets a control ward in here.
Does not have his ultimate because he used it to kill Delight. Kanavi has his.
It's back up pretty quickly.
I do think that this is a really scrappy situation, and D+ are not set up the way they want to. Showmaker has to find a charm angle or something.
Let's see whether they can get it, as there's the Weaver's Wall. Zeka jumps over the side of it as he does find the charm, as now Gumayushi able to take that first kill, but he goes down immediately. Zeka could be in trouble, as in comes the Scion, but down goes Showmaker. Zeka is going to fall there as well, but now Smash having to deal with both Delight and Kanavi, who are just the Bash Bros in this game. It's the Trundle that's able to lock down that kill, and Shiu not going to be offering anything back, as Lucid, very close to dead, will be able to survive here, but he's not going to challenge for these grubs.
In fact, I mean, Kanavi kind of interested in defending his jungle a little bit here. He's not going to fall into that trap, as Delight will at least go over and check.
Yeah, should be able to spot Lucid out, as Lucid will be able to get over this wall. Shadow does come on in there, as he doesn't have flash, but Showmaker is in position here towards his top lane after the teleport.
I mean, Zeka doesn't have his ult. I think they should be fine. Pillar goes down.
Yeah, Traffic Cone comes in. Showmaker needs to hit a charm here, and it's not even going to be enough, as Kanavi will be taken down in trade. Now Korea looking to chase after Delight.
Grubs.
Oh god.
Oh.
Yeah, slammed into a pillar. There is an Aqua Prison hitting onto 2, but it doesn't actually matter at all.
Some cool
goes into a puddle
between the pillar and the Poppy.
The classic Poppy Trundle.
Yes.
Works out very, very nicely. Not so much for Korea, who is, over the last couple of games, really having a bit of a regression here in this tournament.
Yeah, I really think that's true of Zeka. Let's see what he can do.
There's the death mark onto this Talia. Really nice. Charm's going to connect, and Lucid will be able to get the pop damage to come on through. Now Smash having to deal with these two once again. The barrier does come on down.
Grubs, or the final grub. They will finish that one off, and we'll make that 3 grubs. So that's a bit of a scary prospect for later on. Aguma is being zoned off a farm here, and they may fully commit now this wave is crashing.
Yeah, a bunch of extra plate gold is looking pretty nice. There's now Delight, no man's land kind of here, as he doesn't need to be careful. The bubble is good, as Make It Rain not doing too much of anything at all. As Zeka wants to find Showmaker, but he has the Foxfire to help speed him up, so he should be all right. Delight now moving into position as well. And let's see whether Showmaker is going to be able to survive this attempt on his life, as the Hex Splash was charging. Tides of Blood comes in as, all right, there is the shove back. Gorgeously played here from Delight as the chain CC comes in. Showmaker not going to be able to get into position to flash. But 1 minute on this Dragon. Next one going to be a Hex Tech, as DK being able to pick up the first one means they might have a chance here. It's, oh, the Steadfast presence is so good. And it's bullet time to take down Smash. All too easy, says HLE, as now they might even be able to throw down the Rift Herald here in mid to lock up this turret that is still pretty healthy. And there it is, placed down. Kanavi going to help grab this, and they may even actually save the charge, as yes, they will be able to. The inner turret is going to be the one that takes the damage, as Zeka dismounts pretty comfortably is there as well. So the inner is going to fall. Showmaker looking for the angle, but the charm is going to miss. And now Korea in a lot of trouble. Lucid looking for the death mark. He's going to get it there onto Gumayushi, who takes a fair bit of damage, but Showmaker just gets locked down. Now the Scion's making his way in, but he gets blocked immediately. The seismic shove throws him around, and he looked pretty tanky, but it is ultimately not going to matter. As, my God, the Flash Crimson Rush to come through from Zeus to take down. Oh dear. Well, we are going to see the Otacon spawning. Maybe this is going to be an opportunity, as Gumayushi could be in trouble. The ulti comes through from Shiu, but Gumayushi does dodge a lot of that damage. Q goes wide, as the Alcove Gaming's working out here, and down out goes Showmaker. As, all right, Gumayushi taking a fair bit of damage. The death mark is going to finish him off. That is a lot of damage missing now, as Korea will get thrown back. Delight, though, should be the next target, as the culling eaten entirely by this Talia. And now Shiu able to tank up Kanavi relatively well. Zeus now dealing with Otacon at the same time as Showmaker makes his way back into the fight. My God, this Vladimir is really starting to hurt, but he does go down. Zeka delivers a big old wall as the charm is going to miss. He looks for the Spirit Rush, but there is the threaded volley. And now it's Kanavi taking matters into his own hands. This troll is just too big, as Shiu just dealing with his baseball bat, and he can do nothing. The truncheon comes down, and it's a triple. It gives you so much health. And it's a dead man's blade that he's picked up, and once again, Showmaker not going to quite find the mark, but the seismic shove is not going to hit either. Zeka is going to pay the price for that one, as Lucid gets into the backline. Smash looking for the angle as they take down Guma. Smash still trying to kite as the ebb and flow gives him some health, and the bubble is going to come on through. Delight is going to fall down. Great double knockup is now Kanavi. He's once again gigantic, and he's got the subjugate now. And Zeus looking for Showmaker and Career in this backline. Lucid just trying to be tricksy to get out of the way of this one, and Zeus has to pull to dodge the charm. Now he's susceptible and should be going down. Lucid collects that one, and it's Kanavi that's the last man standing.
That cowl in his inventory, he knows that Showmaker is the biggest problem for him. Is Smash, can he get out? I think the answer is yes.
And Korea cannot. That's the problem, as the culling doing a whole bunch of work here, as Zeka taking so much damage. The flash forward from Shiu does get the knockup, as the death mark into the back line is going to spell the end of Zeka, but Showmaker has overextended, and now the flash forward, big old chomp to take down Smash. Baguma's also dead on the other side of this fight. Shiu now fighting against his arch nemesis, which is this troll. And Shiu,
they're going to have to keep doing so if they want any hope of somehow turning this one around.
Well, Gumayushi might be out of position here, and he in fact is, as Great Charm is going to connect there onto Zeus, as now the train is coming in. Pull going to be used there from Zeus. That's going to help him stay alive. But now that health bar is very low. Tidal Wave connects onto Kanavi, as now Smash is looking for Zeka off to the side. Shoots, tanking as best he can. And Showmaker once again finding a good angle. Kanavi trying to be in that front line, and he is. But that's a huge shutdown, like you were saying. Revenge for Smash as he flashes for it. And the outer turret is finally going to be taken.
Baron
DK,
is up.
Yeah, this might actually be Baron time, and they may actually take control of this game number 3.
I think they absolutely will here. Delight wants to make an impact, does have his ultimate. There's a teleport coming through from Zeka, but he does not have his Weaver's Wall. He's just going to have to surf in.
All right, DK, can you actually make this one happen? Zeus off to the top side, Shiu moving over. This Baron is down incredibly low. There's the Keeper's Verdict. It gets rid of the Nami, but Lucid is still here, and he manages to take the Baron. Xiu moves over. Zeka is in here and they're unable to get any of the kills. Xiu is just too big. And without the Trundle, how are you supposed to do anything about this Scion? And he is just taking control. Zeka,
so
you need to get
unkillable.
out of the melee range of the big Scion. And Showmaker now moves over. He's got one more charge. He's like, this game is getting silly.
If the players were still in the booth, it'd be hilarious
Yeah,
to
I
watch
was gonna
that
say,
Mickey
yeah.
Mouse like fly in
We
front
may
of
have
them.
needed a pause. They're like, what happened? There's a soft toy that's just fallen in front of me. No.
Lucid does have his
right.
ult. He's level 16. If he gets backline access, you could bet he's going to press R.
The Shurikens are actually doing a fair bit of work here, as we can see. We'll see whether he can steal this one away. He does manage to take the red buff. That could be a big deal, as now Zeka just getting cold. He
Yeah,
has to
Zeka.
flash his way out of there, and now Xiu finding the angle as he doesn't really get the ulti to work out, but now Zeus is in a very awkward spot, and there it is, the blow up onto the Vladimir. Now Xiu's trying to get even more done. Lucid's very, very low, but Smash is dealing with his turret.
More valuable than that temporary Baron they picked up. It gave them the control that allows them to now hover for this Dragon Prio.
Yep.
Guma backs, grabs his fourth item.
As Xiu can just kind of stand here and deny everything. And yeah, the Raptor is not going to last as he gets into the fog of war. The Dragon
No
has
vision.
spawned right now. And Lucid spots Kanavi coming over. Showmaker actually going to flash out of the way here. Decides not to use the ulti. Wants
they
that
didn't-
for the fight.
Didn't know exactly where Zeka was. He's showing in mid now, but they just did not want to risk it.
Yeah, Kanavi coming back. Showmaker still has that, okay, does land a nice charm onto Zeus. He's the one that has a decent amount of sustain. That's a good seismic shove onto Xiu.
They need to focus down Kanavi somehow. He's just so big, they cannot kill him.
He's an absolute monster.
They're just running away.
He's pressed the subjugate button though, so that's going to be on cooldown. It's not on cooldown for very long at max rank, but now they're looking to start off this Dragon. Xiu getting that health bar back ever so slowly. Now Lucid, needs to watch out for the chunk damage here as he does have to get himself out with that shadow. Now the Keeper's Verdict comes in. It's blocked as now Lucid, can he come on over? He's not able to steal it. As down goes Delight to start this one off. Zeus is so incredibly low as now Showmaker needing to deal with this troll. The rest of the team comes on over though, and now the bullet time, it just kind of goes into the wayside as Smash takes down the Vladimir. The fully charged Q comes out from Xiu, but the health bars are so low.
Smash, pretty healthy here. Guma needs to be careful.
Great interruption there on the Q to avoid the knock-up.
Zeka's gonna get his back off? He's gonna get his back off. It looks like your STP to rejoin.
Yeah, and now Kanavi, he has another round
Smash!
of subjugation as Smash comes in, takes down Guma, and now Lucid finds the angle. Kanavi is gigantic, 1 versus 4 is a bridge too far, and the troll is unfortunately not under that one. DK now pushing down the bottom lane.
Lucid finds the kill onto Zeka. Zeka does not complete the back. TP here into the bottom lane from this raid boss Scion. And it's Delight against the world here, trying to defend an insane push here for D+. They did not collect the Mountain Soul, but they collect the team fight win here in this 37-minute game. Zeka not up for 25. Zeus alone. Going to be a tall order for him to defend this push, but he's going to look for it level 18.
Yeah, Smash does a lot of damage to these turrets as now Delight just getting ripped apart. And without the pull, there is no chance here for the Vladimir. The teleports come in, and DK will stay alive in this upper bracket final to bring us to a game number 4 and possibly set up a reverse sweep.
D+, weathering the storm, weathering the toilet issue, weathering the fearless snafu. Nothing shakes this team.
Mickey Mouse leaving the desk here. And hopefully we will definitely pick him up again as we need to vote for some POGs. I'm all flustered here, Wolf. I'm not going to lie.
Do that.
I'm actually. Do we even need to vote? I mean, it's going to go to Xiu, right?
You might not like my vote, but I changed it.
Oh, he changed it.
I think there's one player here to me with a more aggressive pick instead, and it could even be like the Aurora, but the Aurora's not great into Galio. And so I don't think Showmaker's going to be flexing here, but let's see what CV Max has in mind. This is going to go down to the wire. What is hidden?
Yeah.
The lock will be Cassiopeia, so
it
is going to be that top Aurora for Xiu, and a lot of extra damage here in this Cassiopeia. Which also, you know, feels pretty good into this composition for Hunter Life Esports. You put the ground on the Jax, he is just not going to be able to get away.
The thing is, there's not really a front line for the Zeri to play around. I feel like what they've decided to do is instead go for a lot of chaos.
His average at 10 minutes is a 9 CS lead. He's been able to utilize a lot of power in this early game into the Galio as well to pick up a significant lead. And the Aurora into Jax, I think, is pretty self-explanatory, as Lucid's going to try to utilize some of this prio to interrupt Kanavi's clear.
Yeah, Kanavi going to get ball breaked and will have to flash his way out. Lucid says, well, I'll take your blue buff then. And that is exactly what he's going to do.
Could have almost even flashed for the follow there, but the safer call is to take this blue buff.
If Kanavi can be tricksy enough to make something happen here, Shiu is potentially susceptible, as there is the bounce back, but it doesn't quite work here, as now Kanavi comes on over. Vault Breaker once again. Let's see whether Lucid finds it, and there it is! First Blood will be going over to the DK jungler on his signature pick.
Commits his ultimate. Has to get away. He's backing away now, not farming though. His career also is going to have to take this.
Yep, Magical Journey gets himself out of there. Lucid is rotating over as he will just start the grubs. There is a Cassiopeia with a lane advantage right now, but HLE is still playing pretty aggressively. Kanavi takes one of the grubs, and now Career is going to be able to move in. It looks like Lucid will be able to secure the remaining two. Not going to be able to get all three, so the set will be not available. Smash wants to get a bit more
Smash
money.
is like, can I have some of that?
Yeah, please.
Lucid's like, yeah, I guess so. I got a kill. I'm fine.
Another Magical Journey comes
Delight.
in. I don't know about this one, but the Between Worlds comes down. Delight now in trouble as he gets slowed down, but it looks like they really want to kill Goomer, and it's Smash that gets the money.
Can Smash collapse and sandwich them here?
Yeah, Lucid, he's got cease and desist, and he's going to use it here. Extendo Beam, Kanavi taking so much damage. Held in place here by Korea, as now Kanavi just taking so much. Smash free hitting. It is going to be Lucid going down first, as Kanavi will be falling. Beats of Warfare current, and Smash just sails through the wall to take down Guma. There's the double kill, and Wolf, can you open the file? Can you get out the certification? Because I think we may need it here for Smash.
It's not a lead for him just yet, but this is still a huge win. He's able to space this counter-strike, and Shiu...
Yeah, Zayas got something to say about it. Oh, Shiu outplays it! Still, the poison does tick down.
I mean, that's side lane control to Showmaker, who does have teleport, and he could just join this topside skirmish for the Rift Herald at a moment's notice.
And we have to remember, this is Smash on the Zeri that he has been very, very good at in the past. On in Challenger, it was one of the picks that he did kind of make his name on a little while ago, but now going to get thrown into the wall here. Does cleanse, but he's down to 50%. Cease and desist comes in as we go between the worlds. The Tempered Fate comes down. Cosmic Binding set up, and there is the Petrifying Gaze as Luce is looking for a little bit more. Delight limping out of the fight, and Gumayushi not going to be able to stick around here as they've split them off. The flash for Smash to pick up the kill. 4-0-1, that certification, Wolf, he's really using his education. You know, sometimes you go to uni and then you never really use that degree. Well, he's using it as Shiv. He's going to need his, as now Kanavi will be able to take him down.
Are taking quite a hefty amount of control.
Yeah. Zaya's still going to be a menace in these side lanes as the game goes on, right? I think HLE still have win conditions as this game continues, as Showmaker going to get magnetly stormed. There is a teleport to bring Zayas towards his top side, but we'll see whether Showmaker can keep himself alive. The answer is no. There's 4 people. He's really dead.
That's that macro. I'm going to whiff that one, unfortunately. They're sticking around.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get it done twice in a row. Heroic Entrance will get a double knock up here for Zeka, who's looking for a taunt. He'll get it onto 2, as Gumayushi could be in trouble. Lucid just gets on top of him. And the ulti from Kanavi just finds the air. He's going to go down. It's a double for Smash. He's 6-0 and might be 7. Never mind. That's taken by the Dastardly Snake. And yeah, they may just win the game as D+ are going to push us to game number 5.
Yeah, with this wave here, I mean, 4 seconds on Delight. This inhibitor buying some time. I mean, Zayas needs to somehow be able to delete this mini wave, but it's a cannon wave as well. He's going to try to buy time here.
Yep, Zayas. The Counter-Strike not exactly doing too much here as Between Worlds goes down. Delight finds the Magnet Storm, but there is the Tempered Fate to buy the space. It's another one for Smash.
Too many ways to get into the backline. There's too many ways to blow up the Taliyah and the MF. in this game, it's just like, well, if you just keep scaling and forcing fights early and outplaying, I guess you just come online super fast and suddenly win the game.
Oh god, KENAVI's in so much trouble. Supreme Display of Talent comes down with Smash. He flashes out of the way. It's 2 immediately. Make it 3 as everyone's teleporting in, but it's a quadra kill for Smash. The magical journey and a penta for Smash once again.
All right, looks like it's game 5. At the end of game 2, I don't think anyone really thought we'd be going to 4. In the middle of game 3, I think people thought it was going to be a 3-0 100%, and yet D+ bringing us to 5 games here, nearly completing the reverse sweep. We've got 1 more to go, 1 more decider, as that Rel is going to have to stay in the fountain. D+ bouncing back with a risky draft that had so much late game power, but it came online a little bit early.
And we had a pentakill already this series. Gumayushi was able to do it on his signature Varus. And now Smash picks the Zeri that so many have been praising him for so long, largely from his time in Challenger, and brings us to a game 5, doing the most damage on his team.
Just kind of feel like budget Ziggs in some ways, but it is going to be really tricky to pilot, as the Camille is the look here for Zeus in the top lane. Counterpick will be there for Xiu. The Ornn is still available. We didn't see that picked last time around, as Zeka,
Twisted
no
Fate.
way. Twisted Fate Camille is a tale as old as time.
But it was a tale written by Showmaker. It almost feels rude, as Olaf for Xiu would be crazy, Teemo would be illegal, but we'll just have to see what he's going to do. Xiu's already played Olaf. Like, I think one of his debut games was on the champion.
CV Max is asking the confidence here.
He's pulled out the cauldron, Wolf. He's pulled out the cauldron. There are tentacles in it. And, oh, Fiora? Oh, Lucid's clapping his hands. Hachani looks like he's frightened, and I think most of us are, as the Fiora versus Camille in game 5.
And some mitigation of this bottom lane, which is, I think, what we are seeing. If you look at the mini-map, it is not a 1 lane here for the Mel, and with the melee support that she is laning with, it's kind of unwinnable in these early levels. As level 3 will be hit for Guma Delight first, it looks like, and they had the push really firmly in their grasp. Speaking of grasp.
Yep, there's the Bone Skewers. Oh my god, the amount of damage on Delight as Korea will find first blood! Now looking for Guma, or is Guma looking for him? As, yeah, Guma's going to be able to answer that kill. And so that is money over to the 80 carry for HLE.
Yeah, and the money went over to the Pike here on the side for D+, as we'll see a riposte attempted, but he doesn't have it anymore.
Oh my goodness, this is looking dicey towards his top side of Zeus. We know a pretty scary Camille player.
Lucid is in the area, but there is a ward here for Zeus. She was trying to bait him, though. He's over the wall.
Oh, he does need to flash out of the way. He does do so as Cube misses from Lucid.
We did see, even though Lucid knew that KENAVI was top side, he wasn't poised to actually look for a gank here, because Guma and Delight were respecting the fact that his jungle was top, but they're not respecting right
they're
now.
They're going to find Delight once again. There's the stun. Decent polymorph onto Smash, who does snare up Guma, and Delight is just dead once again. The Q misses, but Lucid will still be able to get the kill.
KENAVI is on this top side, desperately trying to get level 6. As you can see, just hit level 5, so is it going to be able to ultimate here?
That's a lot of repose value, as we've got Delight and Guma moving up. Career is going to get here as well, but KENAVI lying in wait, only level 5, and Lucid looking to move over here. There is the Warrior Trickster, as the Bone Skewer is going to connect. Career will be able to find the stun, and there's another kill. Feats of Warfare go down as Life Esports are behind the turret. It's Career flashing out of the way, and it is going to be the Fiora falling down. Zeus do have a Hextech Dragon spawning in a minute and a half. Zeus moves behind the minion wave. Xiu in a bit of trouble. KENAVI walks over a ward as Hookshot pulls Zeus back. And now DK looking to close in on this monkey. Xiu coming down as there is KENAVI trying to utilize the Warrior Trickster, but he's on vision because of that Sonic Wave, sorry, the Tempest, to come through from Lucid. Now Zeka looking to try and defend, has Delight coming down with him. DK need to be careful if they overstay.
Yeah, Smash does not have a global ultimate to join this fight. He has TP, but there's nothing to go towards.
KENAVI actually has to stop his back.
Zeus
Could
in
be a
trouble.
big deal. Well, let's see. There's the Hextech ultimatum. Its career is the one that's put inside, and the Q is going to connect there from Lucid. Teleports coming in all over the place as the arrow is going to go slightly wide. The rest of DK moving down towards its bottom side. And it looks like HLE just want to get out of here. Some more plates likely to go over as a Realm Warp to stop any sort of back from HLE as they're only 300 hit. Bone Skewer comes down. There's the snare. Zeus going down lower and lower as Smash locks down the kill with the ulti. Still, Gold Card comes in. Safeguards there to shield up Shiu. And Kanavi finally makes his way back down here. But HLE, I don't think it's over just yet. Shiu's in a lot of trouble. Does have to lunge his way out as a rebuttal is decent. Kanavi finds a massive knock-up and finds two as Smash goes down. Korea looking for a little bit more as now Showmaker down so incredibly low. Lucid trying to continue the fight as Showmaker getting himself back in. All right, yeah, Guma's going to show up. Another teleport comes over, and Korea realizes he's very dead. He's going to go on down as now Lucid fighting Zeus in the Dragon Pit, and Zeus going to win that one as he picks up the double, and HLE launch themselves into the lead.
One more before he can get that one online. See a big swap here of attention to the top side of the map as Zeka does have his teleport coming back online, and he can join here in this big brawl top side.
Yeah, Bone Skewer does come on through, but there's the Cyclone Wild Growth combination. They go all the way to the sky, and down goes the Pike immediately. Showmaker's going to be dead as well, and HLE just ripped them to shreds. The arrow is going to be bounced back as if he's in a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time boss battle with Ganondorf, but it's not really going to connect. Yeah, I was just trying to get out of the way, didn't want to get dove. Was spotting to see where they were, and now they know that there's no one towards his bottom side, and so Shiu is just going to lose his turret and then probably lose his life. As Kanavi are going to chase him down. They knew the riposte was there. Showmaker will be able to answer this, but feats of strength go over to HLE by taking that first turret, as we could see there. Zeka going to now move towards his top side as Gold Card comes on through, and the teleport is going to get Showmaker out of there. And now in this mid lane, we have a very dead Mel.
Just so far behind in this game. And Mel, 0-7. Looks like might go down the way of 0-8 as Smash just needs so much more time before he can be relevant in big fights.
Yeah, Zeka, Spidey senses are tingling here, and he is surrounded, as we can see.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many people not showing that he's like, well, they've got to be somewhere nearby. He is going to be able to suss this out, but that's not alone enough.
Yeah, there's the kick back as the Gold Card does come in. Bone Skewer comes down, and that is a dead Zeka. So at least they're able to get that. Showmaker picks up turret aggro and is able to survive. Inner turret will be falling down. The Bone Skewer onto Kanavi as the arrow is going to split between Showmaker and Korea. But Showmaker is still in so much trouble. Kanavi just finding him, and Zeka is going to show up there as well. The wild cards come down. Zeus just executes Korea, and there's nothing he can do about it. And the Frost Shot.
Another turret off the map.
Yeah,
they're just surgically removing them.
Lucid gets on top of Kanavi, actually wins out on that trade quite nicely as now Korea moves over. There's the snare, kick comes back, and Kanavi goes down. Beautifully picked up there by DK.
A little bit of greed, and we're going to see a teleport actually come through towards the bottom part of the map. Yeah, they really want to get some vision control here and make for a mid push. Showmaker has his ult.
Yeah, there's the QSS from Korea to try and get himself out of there. As there's the ulti just to try and do something. As the flash on forward, the Mel's going to be able to take down Gumayushi, but Showmaker could not do anything after that one. And now Smash, he's going to need about 5 different rebuttals if he wants to survive that. And unfortunately, he didn't even have one.
I mean, they could have taken the small win and looked for the Dragon setup. She was just trying to buy time and to pull these players off of the map for the respawns to come through. He's even going to get away here with his TP. Career also doesn't have his flash, so harder for him to look for flank plays like what he has been trying to fish for through this mid game. As we do see Kanavi once again potentially a target here for Lucid. Career.
Yeah, arrow is just going to go straight into Career, and he's just dead.
No flash, and he's down.
Yeah, now the Destiny Gate to come on through here as Shiu with riposte. Should be all right, but Smash has to flash to get himself out of the way.
And that's another turret for Camille. Zeus is just going to take it off the map, and he's going to start to threaten that inhibitor turret before long.
Yeah, this is the problem, is HLE are doing this without their most fed member. They're still making these plays happen. Snare not going to quite work out. And speaking of that most fed member, he's going to dive on top of Smash, and look at that, executes him. Into the back line goes the Fiora, and then out she goes via the Death Chamber. And Zeus He's just doing whatever the heck he wants. This guy's Camille is looking absolutely unstoppable, as HLE will not be reverse swept today.
Not gonna happen. One of our big tournament favorites was pushed to the brink here in this upper bracket, but they are going straight to the grand finals.
And we'll see whether it can be a rematch or whether T1 is going to be able to knock DK out of this tournament tomorrow in that best of 5. But this was not the game 5 that DK were looking for, and HLE will finish it off here in 5 games.
5 games was what it took. D+ kept the series interesting, but it will be Hanwha Life Esports to cross the stage for the final time before the grand finals on Sunday. Risks were taken in draft here for D+. We thought in game 3 and in game 4 they might have been taking crazy pills, but they were able to pull it off in the late game in 3, and then the game 4 draft, the scaling composition came online so early with some really well-played skirmishes. But in game 5, the risk of the Fiora, they were confident to that. I think it was a Shiwu decision, and I think it is definitely one that they will be regretting on the ride to the team house home.
Yeah, I would say so. I want to go back to what we were talking about at the very beginning, which was it's a volatile draft, to say the least. And unfortunately, it kind of blew up in their face. And Zeus, as you can see, topping the damage. And this was just one of the biggest top gaps that we've seen in a very long time.